Two women sit across from each other in a quiet corner cafe. Dana is newly married and glowing with excitement. You see, Dana represents the voice of the world, shaped by jokes, memes, and stereotypes. Not cruelty, just conditioning. Beth is her longtime friend, grounded, warm, and wise. Dana said, "Oh honey, let me tell you, married life is good. And honestly, I finally got what I wanted. I've dated all kinds of men. And trust me, size matters." Beth replies gently, "You know, I disagree. My Robert, may he rest in peace, wasn't one of those name brand men folks brag about. But let me tell you something, Dana. The only thing that ever needed to be big was his capacity to love. Robert and I were high school sweethearts. My first boyfriend, my prom date, my first kiss, my first everything. He was popular and everyone loved him. I was shy, but he brought out the best in me on our wedding night. He gave me confidence because he had confidence in himself. I never compared him to anyone. He was my first, and he was enough. More than enough. He took care of me and our kids just fine. Fast forward to our 50s. The kids were grown and the house was quiet. One night he seemed troubled. I asked him, "Baby, what's wrong?" He told me he had carried inferiority complex his whole life about his size. I was shocked. I never would have known. He was always so confident. But I told him what I'm telling you now, Dana. The only thing that ever needed to be big was his capacity to love. So you can keep your measuring sticks and your rulers. The only thing that ever needed to be big was his capacity to love. I sure miss my Robert. No man could take his place. I'll never forget that night at 2:30 in the morning when our little girl couldn't breathe. I didn't hear a thing, but he did. He drove her to the emergency room, held her hand until she could breathe again. That's the kind of man he was. When I was sick from chemo, he washed my hair scars, held my shaking hands, told me I was beautiful when I didn't feel like a woman at all. I survived that cancer. He never changed. That's the kind of man I had when the house went into foreclosure. He worked 2 jobs, kept the lights on, kept the kids clothed, kept our family standing. That's the kind of man he was. You can keep your measuring sticks and your rulers. The only thing that ever needed to be big was his capacity to love. After Robert passed, I tried dating again. There was this one man, and Lord, he was proud of himself. He bragged about his size every chance he got, but the more he talked, the more I realized that if that part of him ever stopped working, I would be stuck with his mind. And honey, I did not like where that mind was headed. He was arrogant, full of himself, propped up by compliments and not much else. So I'll say it again. You better keep your measuring sticks and your rulers. The only thing that ever needed to be big was his capacity to love. You know, Dana, do you realize how many divorces happen in people's 60s and 70s? It's because the thing they married for wasn't the thing that lasted. Looks fade, life gets hard, and when all that's left is the heart of the person beside you, you better pray that heart is big. After listening to Beth's story, Dana had a bit of redemption in her heart, and she says, "Beth, I've been thinking about everything you said, and I want to say something to the men out there who ever felt small. You're not. Not to the woman who loves you, not to the kids who depend on you, not to the world you hold together quietly. Your worth was never measured by your body. It was measured by your love. And Lord, I pray my husband has a heart as steady and strong as Robert's, a heart that stays with me through thick and thin and doesn't leave just because life changes. You can keep your measuring sticks and your rulers. The only thing that ever needed to be big was his capacity to love."